I'm
I'm
gonna push record. Hey, Gomertrons.
Gomertrons. What's up?
We thought you'd like to see the Forrest Gump ep early.
Yeah,
Because actually this doesn't
totally.
come out, well, no, this doesn't come out for a couple weeks. So I'll drop it today or tomorrow,
Oh yeah.
and then people will have it far in advance. They'll know all our thoughts about Forrest Gump.
Yes. And lots of edits. No, actually no edits. Now we're on the bonus disc.
Yeah, screw edits.
No, that is not true, Gomertrons. Don't worry.
Okay. All right, let's do
But
this.
um the edits are usually because we said something so offensive. Just
You
kidding.
wouldn't believe how offensive we can get.
I can't believe they took that take. They had that take on Forrest Gump. All right, you ready?
Okay, yep.
Okay, here we go. Oh, crud. Sorry. Back to 0. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, click. All right, claps. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's me.
Yep. I think it's you,
Oh,
right? Yeah, it's
duh. I
we don't
was.
do these as often anymore, so
I
we
know.
forget.
Sorry, I was just hiding self view, so it looks like I'm talking to my friend
Sweet.
and not looking at myself. Duh. You do a cold open and then.
Right, which I
Sorry.
haven't done yet. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay,
No
we'll
problem.
figure it out.
Okay. No. Welcome everybody to Perfect Movie, a podcast where two regular guys try to save the universe one great film at a time. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, joined as always by my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
All right, I'm having this memory right now as you were reading that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're doing Forrest Gump today.
Yep.
Forrest Gump stars an actor named Tom Hanks. Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah.
Good actor.
I have a season ticket,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, I know that. And so the I saw on our sheet that this is our fourth Tom Hanks.
Wow.
He is the most talked about actor, I think,
Mm-hmm.
so far on the podcast. I
Okay.
had this memory of little Steven.
Yep.
It's a late on a Saturday night, and he's watching
Mm-hmm.
NBC, Saturday Night Live,
Oh
SNL,
yeah. Yep.
and this must have been, I mean, middle school or high school. Tom
Yep.
Hanks is hosting, and the opening you know how sometimes there's an opening monologue and then there's also a skit.
Right. Yep.
Um, it was like he became part of. It was his fifth time hosting,
Yep.
and so he got like the skit was he got brought into this special room and given like a gold jacket as a.
Yeah.
This could all be a dream. I'm gonna have to Google this afterwards. Um,
Okay.
and inside the room was like Alec Baldwin and
Yeah.
Steve Martin and
Uh-huh.
all these
Yep.
guys. I'm guessing they were all guys. And they were all telling him about the Five Timers Club. That,
Yeah.
this has to be real. I mean, this
There
must be
there's
a thing.
Yeah, I remember this as well. I don't remember yeah, maybe the gold jacket.
That could be
Sort
made
of
up. I don't know. I could
Happy
be,
Gilmore
you know, these
style.
memories, you mix things in your head. This could be
Right.
like several things I'm remembering. And it could have
Yep.
been an Alec Baldwin episode and Tom Hanks was in the room for all I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
mixing up the guys.
Right, right.
But so we have to make a jacket. If this thing is real,
Uh-huh.
if this skit is real that I'm remembering and he got a gold jacket, we need to send him another gold jacket next time we do a Tom Hanks movie. Now he's in the
Yes.
Five Timers Club of the two Gomers
Yes.
whenever we do Big or whatever we're going to do next.
Oh yeah. We have to do big. We have to do Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah. What else?
Uh, Sully.
Yep.
Have you seen?
Philadelphia, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Philadelphia. Have you seen Sully?
I actually haven't. No.
Okay. It is very weird.
Okay.
I mean, he's the perfect Sully, just like he's the perfect Mr. Rogers. Um,
Yep.
uh, have you seen the Mr. Rogers movie?
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Rogers
Sorry.
movie is weird too. But there's this part in the Mr. Rogers movie that is like no other movie I've ever seen. You have to see that movie. It's very cool. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Sully ends with, I kid you not, 20 minutes of Sully Sullenberger, played by the actor Tom Hanks,
Yep.
doing like flight simulators on the computer. And then the movie ends.
What?
He's like in court, and they're like, well, you have to do these, you have to show us how you did this thing. And they show it's so weird, dude. I can't wait for you to see it. I think it's a Clint Eastwood movie. Just
Okay.
20 minutes of Tom Hanks sitting at a computer doing flight simulators. The end. It's the weirdest
Okay.
thing. Yeah,
Huh.
but it's a. I mean, we'll have to, if you like it enough, we'll put it on Perfect Movie. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of Tom Hanks to get to
Yes.
before then.
Yep.
Specifically, Big for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's Big is canon for me, and this movie, Forrest Gump, is absolute canon for me. I mean,
Right.
for me, so this came out. We'll get to the one sheet, but in July 1994, July 6th officially.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember seeing this with Gomer 3, Alex.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And maybe the Chad. We could ask him, and he could tell us like what time the movie was. He could, but I know it was at. I know it was at
people were in the
point.
theater,
Right.
and he still knows all of them.
Yeah.
He hangs with them.
Text them on their birthdays and stuff. Totally. But dude, I just remember watching this with Alex. This is another one where, you know, like you guys, you're Entertainment Weekly, you're like introducing me to stuff. Still, look, you just introduced me to another movie I need to watch.
Yep. I mean, there were issues and issues about Sully of Entertainment Weekly. Week after week, Sully is on the front cover.
Well, anyways, Alex was like, we're going to go see Forrest Gump. And I'm like, okay. I had no idea what it was about.
Huh.
And I didn't actually know like how to take it. You know, like, because I was a junior. It was summer before junior year or summer before.
No, this would have been your summer before sophomore year.
Okay, sophomore.
This was the summer after my sophomore year, because I remember I went right afterwards. I went to a party out in the woods, which is very unlike me.
Okay.
I got invited to this party in the woods.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking to people about Forrest Gump. What a weird memory. Okay, so yeah, it was the summer after your freshman year.
Oh wow. Okay. So then I was real young. Dude, my mom just sent me a picture because I don't have many pictures of my youth.
Yeah.
And so my mom just sent me a picture of my 8th grade student picture with my bassoon. It's incredible. It's
pretty thick. I mean, you were a pretty big guy at that point, I'm assuming.
No, I was like 80 pounds, so tiny. The bassoon was bigger than me. I can't believe it.
I remember those pictures where the bassoon, like, what is holding this guy up when he's got the bassoon in his hand?
It's just so weird. Yeah. But I'm just picturing that kid just a year later is the one that went to see Forrest Gump with Al. And so like I didn't get like what was, you know, like I was like, are they making fun of this dude?
Yeah.
Like, are we making fun of this dude? You know, like as a sophomore in high school, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like you didn't quite get what was going on. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got some news for you. I watched this movie last week and I felt a similar way.
Okay. Like, are you supposed to laugh at that? Or
right.
like that or what?
The Forrest Gump has been a roller coaster for me in my life.
Huh.
Yeah. I loved it the first time I saw it. It's hard not to be impressed by it. You know what I mean? Like there is something special about it. I loved it immediately. Obviously, I was talking to all these people at this weird midnight woods party I was at or whatever.
Yep.
Then I kind of went off of Forrest Gump for about a decade in my 20s.
Okay. You were
I had all these problems.
Contrarian.
Yes.
Like,
I don't know if I was trolling it. I don't know what
totally.
Well,
I could see you doing that.
Yeah. So I do have some issues with it, right? And we'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait.
Today or last week when I watched it again, it's undeniably unique and special and effective. I'm still a little confused about maybe some of the things that you're confused about when you were as a freshman.
Totally. Well, yeah, like I'm pretty sure Chad was there. I'm not sure it because
Almost
here's
certainly,
my
right?
memory.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like is that me and Chad were
Yeah.
like cackling.
Uh-huh.
And Alex was like, "No, guys, this is serious. Like, this is important. Like, stop talking." And me and
funny.
this is like my memory. My other memory is okay. So you remember where Point Cinema is? I don't know what it's called now. Marcus Point whatever Point 25 Ultra
something
Screen.
like that. Yeah. They do have an Ultra Screen in there, as far as I remember. I think I saw Fantasia 2000 on that Ultra Screen on my honeymoon.
Totally, dude. I saw Two Towers.
Yeah.
I saw there was like 3 things in a row that happened when I had 104-degree fever.
What?
It was like
that must have been a midnight showing too.
Totally. Yep. I played Handel's Messiah with a Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra with a box of tissue under my chair, just like constant. Like that would never happen. Think about COVID now. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
But like that's you just powered through, right?
Right.
Played the Messiah, which is like 2.5 hours, and then went to a George Winston concert with Aaron. For some reason, these all 3 happened to me on the same night, but
that's what I was going to say. You're talking about them as if they were back to back.
I think these are 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And that because it's like Christmas. You know what I mean? So it's George Winston December live.
Yeah. Right.
Best thing ever.
Yeah.
With Aaron. Yep. And then Two Towers midnight
Which is
showing.
Christmas, definitely. Yeah.
Total Christmas and Handel's Messiah. And I just remember Two Towers being the most miserable experience. You know what I mean? Horrible fever. Like middle of the night, like fell asleep.
Well, this is weird because I saw Two Towers with Gomer 3 with Alex, a midnight showing in Minneapolis.
I'm
opening night.
Oh,
so
interesting. Okay.
Two back-to-back stories of us seeing movies with Alex, like 15 years separated.
Yeah. But that was probably the same night though. That's weird.
No. What do you mean the same night? Oh, you mean both of us went to see Two Towers on the same night?
Yep.
Yes, it must have been.
You guys in Minneapolis, me with Krause and I think Aaron.
Well, and now that you mention it, there was a guy sleeping two people down from me. That's a memory I have. We were in the same theater. That was you.
What? Okay, last thing though about the Ultra Screen.
Yeah.
Is Alex. So, dude, have you ever seen Alex Gomer 3 do Forrest Gump's run?
I think I've seen it on video somewhere. Is that possible? Did you guys do a funny video about it?
Maybe like for VCAT News or Youth Group.
You mean the run where he's like, it's a weird run because he's obviously running super fast, but it doesn't look like he's making much effort.
Yeah, he's very efficient. His body doesn't move.
Right. He's ramrod straight.
Yep.
He just runs.
Yeah.
I also love the effect, dude, where they cut away from him and then they cut back and he's like a mile away and there's just like a cloud of dust. That is good stuff.
That is so funny. I love how he does that as a kid and as a high schooler, but he's 40.
Yeah, that 40-year-old high schooler, him and Robin Wright.
I know, like
yeah.
The most mature high schoolers you've ever seen. But anyways, we finished the movie. We weren't quite sure what to think of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just me and Alex. I don't know. But anyways, I just remember Alex ran to Westtown Mall like that. Like the whole way. And that's why I think Chad was there, because he was doing it to make us laugh. And I can't imagine him just doing that to just make me laugh. It's possible.
It's possible.
But, so if anybody's from Madison, Wisconsin or has been there, he ran from the movie theater to the mall. Is my recollection.
That's probably a mile.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
That is amazing. I never heard that story. Great job, Al.
Yep. Good job.
Anything
hey, Al.
for a
nice.
bit.
Oh, totally. He commits.
That is so true. And if he doesn't get an immediate laugh, he just keeps going. and you just can't help it after a while. Pretty good.
He will run a mile for a laugh. Yep.
The other thing that I thought of is, and I don't think we did this on purpose, but I'm pretty proud of us that we didn't have a single um, director double in our first season.
That's pretty. We didn't do that on purpose, honestly.
No.
No.
I think
good.
maybe if we had done Forrest Gump, if we had it slated in the first season, one of us would have said, "Should we really be doing another Zemeckis?" Because we did Back to the Future,
Right.
But also, I think it probably helped that we had this directors of color thing, because that really mixed up, I think,
yes.
Our what we probably would have. I mean, we probably would have done Forrest Gump in October and November, right? And totally. I'm glad we didn't, because now we have a full season where there's no.
Uh-oh. Stopped. Hold on. Pause.
Okay.
Oh, hold on 1 second, dude. Okay, save right there. So I'm glad we didn't. That's where you have to start. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. So I'm at 1430. Can you stop?
Yep.
Go to 1430 even.
Yep. I'm saying, and I'm glad we didn't.
Yep. And hold on 1 second. It just said your disc is too slow to keep recording.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, Gomertrons. I have plenty of space.
Okay.
I just restarted.
Do we just want to try again?
No, we'll just keep going, and
okay.
I'll just keep my eye on it. Sorry about that.
Right on 1430.
1430.
You want to claps again or no?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, great.
All right, 1430. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, click. All right, claps. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. And I'm glad we didn't, because now we have that nice full season where every episode is a different director. But now that we're in season 2, screw that. Let's do more Zemeckis.
We're going to do we'll do a Zemeckis festival. We'll do a Spielberg festival. I mean, Zemeckis, Spielberg, Hanks, John Williams. I mean, all white dudes, obviously.
I was going to put James Cameron on that list, right?
Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that formed our stories, our lives.
Yes.
Which is part of why we have pivoted and want to intake more diversity, more stories, learn more, see more, right? But we can't change. We can't,
our past.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We can't say, Selma was my favorite movie when I was in high school.
Yep.
This was formative. This is canon.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we'll probably get to some of why this is not the best. It's a little bit nostalgic in the wrong ways.
Yeah,
that's my guess
again,
as to what your hot take's going to be.
I'm confused about how I feel about it, because it's really hard. And we've talked about this before with movies like Space Camp, where I'm like, huh? Not everybody loves this movie, and it's so hard for me to tear that to tear that nostalgia away. And I think with a movie like this that's different than Space Camp, it's also hard to tear it apart from the huge cultural footprint that this movie has.
Totally.
I think this is up there with, honestly, with a Star Wars or an E.T., with the how it or a Toy Story.
Yep.
Maybe not as clear pre Forrest Gump, post Forrest Gump Hollywood, but this has. I mean, I saw the one sheet, $600 million.
Yeah. I know.
And then you watch this movie and this made almost $700 million in the 90s.
Right.
That's $1 billion movie today.
For sure.
Insane.
Totally. I watched this interview with the cast from USC Film School.
Okay.
We got the extras, and they were all agreed this could never be made today. You couldn't sell it. You wouldn't understand what it was. It is an original. And I mean, how many movies have a restaurant? I mean, like made a restaurant. Like,
I know. Yeah, they're like, well, I mean, I have so okay. While we're talking about Bubba Gumps,
uh-huh.
people might be wondering at the end of this. I'm just gonna get ahead of this. I have a
Okay.
huge issue. I have a huge issue with the with Walter Mitty and the product placement, right?
Oh, yep.
Why wouldn't I in this movie have an issue with this? Because I actually love the product placement in this movie.
Bubba Gump.
Bubba Gump, they like you said, they invent the main product, and
Right.
then that comes out of it.
So
But
it's the yeah, okay.
but the actual products that are in it, the ones I can think of right now, which are Nike and Apple,
Right. Yep.
um, fit the story so much better
Sure.
than I think a Cinnabon or a Papa
Sure.
John's in Walter Mitty does. Like that reveal of he opens the envelope and there's the apples. Like he invested in a
Yeah.
fruit company, so I don't have to worry about money anymore. That's a great joke.
Yes, that is so good. And I
And
remember loving that,
yeah,
80-pound me was like, I know that.
I get
That's a
that
computer.
joke.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's funny. Yep. So I think I just want to that's a little why isn't
oh,
Steven complaining about product placement in this? Because I think
I
it
got it.
fits.
Oh, well,
But
and it's actually, well, yeah, there's the two product placements. Nike's, though, he's a runner,
yep,
and
exactly.
Apple is like, that's the perfect company to invest in the early 80s.
Yep.
Like, that's incredible.
And it fits with
Yep.
this kind of like winky, you know what I'm talking about? How this movie is so winky. Like,
It is winky.
get it? But for
Yeah.
some reason, the get it doesn't annoy me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into it when we put it on trial. I'm
Okay.
the other thing, dude, is you're gonna have to help me through some of this because I'm coming in with a little confused about how I
Okay, that's
feel
fine.
about any of this stuff.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Hey, have you ever been to Bubba Gump Shrimp Corporation
I
or
walked by
company?
it. I walked by it in the Mall of America.
Okay, I've been there twice at the Mall of America.
Okay.
I remember
And
I got
how
the
is it?
coconut shrimp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's like but luckily this is on the bonus disc, although a year from now this will be on regular.
Yeah.
It's actually, I felt like it's like Hard Rock Cafe or Planet Hollywood, or
Yeah.
like you're going to get the Rice Krispies chicken or Captain Crunch chicken
Yeah.
tenders.
Yep.
Like it's got that feel. It's
Yeah.
got that Applebee's,
Okay. That's what I
Chili's. Are you
figured.
still okay,
I,
I don't mean this to be judgy.
yeah.
Do you still like those restaurants?
um, it's a good thing we don't, or else this would be very judgy. Um, I,
Sorry.
the reason I don't like, so I'm just looking up to see if Bubba Gump even exists anymore. Like
Oh, I wonder how they've
this is
done through
definitely a
COVID.
restaurant that doesn't seem like it would survive, right?
They have something like 45 locations. They have them in like the Philippines.
I see.
They
Yeah,
have
I'm
them
looking
all
at the
over the
map.
United States. I
The
mean,
closest one
yeah,
to me is in Vegas. So
go.
it's about 4 hours away. I could go. I should have gone to Bubba Gump Shrimp Company in preparation for this episode during a pandemic.
Right. You get takeout. I wonder if there's one in Atlanta.
Wait, let me look at the map. Um, uh, yeah, I think it seems
143
like
miles is the closest for me.
okay. Yeah, there's one in Orlando. It looks like, um, those are the closest ones to you. And then there's one in where
There's
is
one in
this one?
Tennessee. There's one in
Yeah, there's a
Tennessee.
lot in Florida.
Okay.
Um, doesn't this seem like it doesn't? So Bubba Gump, if you're relating it to something like Applebee's, we don't like Applebee's. We don't like Chili's anymore. We've outgrown these
Well,
restaurants.
no, the reason that I ask,
Yeah.
that sounded judgy. I didn't mean it like that. It's like they went from being like they cook everything to now it's as if they went to Publix and got all the microwave meals that said TGI Fridays on it and
Yep.
then heated up.
I don't know if
Like,
Felicia is listening. Felicia, you might be listening. Felicia, our friend, worked at Chili's, and that turned
oh,
me off to Chili's because she's like, it literally is. We get boxed meals,
that's what I'm talking
and you
about.
put them on a what do you call that? Like a thing that
Like a
rolls, like a
oh,
assembly line thing.
oh, okay.
Not assembly line. That's the wrong word. You just put it on like a rolling thing and it goes through an oven and then you
Oh,
bring it
okay.
to the
Like a pizza,
person.
like a pizza oven, sort of, or
Yes, exactly.
a
Yep.
heat something or heating thing. Okay.
Yeah. And so she's like, we don't make anything, anything in the restaurant. And all these restaurants started, and I think when we were in high school still,
Yep.
they would
Mm-hmm.
make their own food.
Totally.
Dunkin' Donuts even, dude.
Yep.
No, they don't make the donuts in there anymore. They get them shipped in
No,
and they warm them up.
it's bad. Krispy Kreme, you
Yeah.
can see it. Now they do bring in like all their stuff and they just stir it together. Um,
And
I mean it's
plop it in that oil bath,
you know,
that lazy river of oil.
lazy river for dough. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like so. What I guess what I mean is bubblegum. Actually, it seemed like a little like a step above that.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like you're going to Bobby Flay's or
right.
some sort of diners, drive-ins, and dive sort of thing. Like it
Yeah,
did seem, you know, like instead of farm to table, like freezer to warming plate
sure.
or something.
Yep.
Um, but I don't know.
I maybe someday I'll go. It's on my bucket list. Go to
I mean,
Bubba
coconut
Gumps.
shrimp is
Yeah,
good frozen.
yeah.
Like
That's
you know
that.
what?
If you're gonna
Not
warm
eaten
something,
frozen. Yeah, like
it's a
totally.
coconut shrimp. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
unless you live near the sea, you're probably going to get it frozen and heat it up anyways, and they're going to heat
Hmm.
it up as good as anybody.
Yeah, yep. Unless you have your own shrimp and boat, you're getting the shrimp by yourself. It's likely gonna be frozen. Um, let's look at the one sheet, and then I can
Okay,
read the VHS uh,
great.
synopsis. What's jumping out to you
Sorry
about the
about
one sheet?
okay. Sorry about the hot take about chain restaurants. Um,
No, I
we
think it's
did
a completely appropriate, cool
okay.
take to say that
Yeah,
these restaurants now do not actually cook their own food and the quality has dipped.
yep. We yeah, we used to go to Applebee's like ironically. You know what I mean? And then you got a taste for it. Like that was us like for a
Sure.
year like we
Yeah.
were like we're going to go to it cuz it's hilarious. And
Uh-huh.
then it's like, "Wait, this is actually pretty good."
I did take Switchfoot to Applebee's and had a blonde brownie.
Oh, that's not good. That's not sorry. That's good.
Yeah, that is
Like
good.
that's
You're right.
not
It is
not
not good.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Sorry. We'll probably come back to some more restaurants. Okay. Released.
Mm.
Sorry. Okay. Forrest Gump released on July. That sounded really weird. Let me edit that.
Okay.
Okay. Forrest Gump. Sorry. Forrest Gump release date July 6th, 1994.
Yep.
Alex Anthony Chad went on July 7th. No, something like that. Running time 2 hour and 22 minutes. I'm guessing you're gonna have an issue with that.
That's a long movie. Yeah.
That is a long movie. But this is the 90s.
Hey,
You
it's
know,
the
the firm.
90s.
Hey, give me as much movie as you can.
I forgot how long The Firm was. I watched that again the other day. Now it's a great movie to fall asleep to because of its length.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's long. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and they all have that piano music too.
Oh, this piano was so hot in the 90s.
Yep.
Okay. Rated PG-13. Budget for this movie estimated was $55 million.
Uh-huh.
It grossed at the box office $678 million.
Crazy.
Cool thing about this is that Tom Hanks didn't take a dime
What?
for the movie.
No way.
He took a percentage.
Oh,
So I
man.
believe this is what Schwarzenegger did for Partner to Total Recall.
That's right. Yeah, that I think big stars started doing this, right? In the
Mhm.
90s, where they
Yep.
realized if I think it's a sure thing, I could actually make more money taking
Mhm.
royalties for it.
Now, what happens if you make, I don't know, can't think of anything right now, like the movie that just tanks?
Right, yeah. There's a lot of those for Schwarzenegger in
there's
particular, right? Like, I hope he
sure.
didn't take a cut of The Sixth Man or whatever it was. It's like, yeah. So you do have to, tread lightly and make wise decisions. But this one was,
Sure.
do you know what percent he got?
Yeah, well, so it's estimated that he got $70 million
Okay, yeah, so that's a pretty good call.
in the 90s. So,
Wow.
dude, that would make this his highest paid movie, and up there, I believe, with like the highest anybody ever got paid for a movie.
It must be
Uh,
his highest grossing movie, period. I can't think of another Hanks that would be, well, maybe Toy Story.
yeah.
The Toy Story
Okay, yep.
franchise is probably, but I
Yep.
doubt he made as much money.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And he's the only one that could have done it in this, and he could not have done that in Toy Story because that cast. I mean, he would have had to split that like 10 ways if you get a percentage of Toy Story.
I mean, this movie is called his character, right? He is.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
Far below him, I would say, is Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, Sally Field. He is Forrest Gump. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. It's not. It doesn't say Forrest and Bubba, or Forrest and Jenny, or Peas and Carrots. You know.
What if it was called Peas and Carrots? Oh God. That 678 million would be cut by 90% if this movie was called Peas and Carrots.
Peas and. Oh, that scene is so good though.
Yeah.
Okay. This movie did garner 6 Academy Awards: Best
Huge.
Picture,
yeah,
Best Actor, Best Director, Best Writing, Best Film Editing, Best Visual Effects. It was also nominated for a ton more. I didn't write those down here.
Yeah.
There is controversy now about the Academy Awards. Like, looking back on it, they're like, this was just made to win every award.
Yep.
But like looking at the list, like Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Quiz Show, and then there was one other I forgot to write down.
Little Rascals. I think you're missing Little Rascals. That should have been. In any other year, it would have won.
Don't forget Speed, which is also a perfect movie.
Yes.
Ace Ventura, Star Trek Generations, Partner to Clear and Present Danger. This is an amazing summer.
Right? Clear and Present Danger is definitely a partner.
Totally. I love Clear and Present Danger. It's not my favorite of those. My favorite is still Hunt for Red October. And
of course,
partner to Sum of All Fears.
Right. You like Sum of All Fears a lot. I remember seeing Clear and Present. I remember seeing most of these movies in the theater.
Yep. Point. Right?
Point.
At Point Cinema.
Same theater. Pre-Alta Screen.
Yep. Totally.
I think we probably saw Star Trek Generations together in the theater.
Yep. I have it written down in my journal.
Oh, that's the one where those two women almost came to fisticuffs about who the better captain was.
Yeah. And we went to that immediately following Anne Frank.
Oh, right.
Remember we went to see Diary of Anne Frank.
Uh-huh. And I think I felt a little guilty about that. Shouldn't I be sadder right now?
Right.
Instead, I'm going to see Star Trek Generations and having a gay old time.
Yep. Went straight to Del Italia, got some subs and some spicy crab salad with Chad.
Oh gosh, yum.
Star Trek Generations.
Yeah.
Stinking up the joint. Those onions.
The worst thing. There is nothing worse to eat than crab salad at Star Trek Generations.
Thinly sliced red onions and like the sub dressing, those things stink.
Yep.
And when you're in 8th grade, 9th grade, like you don't give a rip.
No, we are a real joy to be around, listener. I have some thoughts on the writer, but I think I'm gonna bump that into the trial.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes score is curious to me. 71% critic feels low.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering if this is one of those ones that changes over time.
We still have not figured out how that works, but I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like
it has fallen in grace a bit over the past. It's been almost 30 years, right?
Yeah, 27 years.
Yeah, it's not like you were saying in these interviews. I don't think it could get made today unless it was a Netflix movie, maybe. Something like that. But I'm not surprised maybe to see that 71% if that's a movable number.
Yes. So we need to find that out. We'll keep researching.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing from the Gomer One sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Other cast choices. We rarely mention this. Now, have you seen these before?
No, I'm reading them right now, and they're thrilling.
Okay, so original. These are the people that they wanted before Tom Hanks. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Bill
Murray. These aren't just other choices. These are people that got pitched first.
Yes.
Huh.
This is according to my research.
Uh-huh.
It was offered, I believe it was offered to John Travolta first. He turned it down.
Okay, that makes sense to me actually. In the
Yep.
90s especially. Yeah.
Yep. And he I guess apparently he super duper learned to majorly regret that.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, he did
Um,
Pulp Fiction. That was his kind of resurgence in the 90s, but imagine a Pulp Fiction Forrest Gump double
that
header for
hair.
him.
Whoa.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I'm imagining
that would be
yeah,
that would be the most amazing comeback of any actor ever.
totally.
And then
But
Face
Pulp
Off a
Fiction,
couple years later.
yeah, yeah, all led so that we could get to Face Off. Bill Murray,
Yeah,
uh, like he's so we talked about on the Groundhog Day episode. It's the first Perfect Movie episode that I've re-listened to because it's the first Perfect Movie we've rewatched
oh, interesting.
since
Yeah.
recording because Groundhog Day was a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to our episode.
Yeah,
And fascinating to listen to.
I bet.
And then watch the movie, like because remember Tom Hanks was up for Groundhog Day.
Right. These were the right casting choices.
Yes, because remember Tom Hanks said,
Uh-huh.
no, they would just see me as the good guy from
Right.
the beginning of Groundhog Day.
Yep.
And yeah, Bill Murray's just he's too grumpy.
Too grumpy. Yes, we're in agreement there. Too grumpy
Yep.
for Forrest Gump.
Okay, Chevy Chase, Forrest Gump, stupid.
Too grumpy. Both these guys are too grumpy. They needed to.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. It's based on a book, and Forrest Gump in the book is a very grumpy boy.
Right. Okay, that's a very good point.
So
it's
I'm
very
thinking that they were trying to cast it according to the book, and then something happened in the writing, and obviously Tom Hanks totally plays this character in a singular way, and he made it not grumpy anymore.
It is. I think he's perfect. Okay. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
You can look up all on the internet. Bubba was originally offered to David Allen Greer,
Wow.
Dave Chappelle,
Mm-hmm.
and Ice Cube.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle ends up being with Tom Hanks in
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail. Yep.
Right. For some reason, those two guys are friends. Tom Hanks and Dave Chappelle in You've Got Mail are friends. They're like good friends. He's half his age.
He works. Does he work there? Does he? I can't remember. I
don't know. I actually don't think he works at Fox Books. He's just his friend.
They're just buds. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't dig I think Robin Wright is perfection.
Yeah.
I mean, Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
She's House of Cards, right in the middle, here.
She's so good in this movie. Yeah.
But it was offered to Jodie Foster, Nicole Kidman, and Demi Moore first.
Huh. Interesting. These are. So I think especially Bubba and Jenny, bigger actors were offered their parts before it got down to McKelty Williams and Robin Wright, right? And so I wonder if they looked at the script and they were just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to get.
What is this?
Yeah.
What is this? What is like
what is
really
this?
What is this movie?
We got to get to the trial because I can't wait to tell you what my second piece of evidence is.
Okay. Wait.
Let me read the back of the VHS.
Hold on, dude.
Okay.
Lieutenant Dan, originally Joe Pesci.
Okay, I could see that, but it would have been a different movie.
Just imagine Joe Pesci as in charge of the platoon.
Would he have gotten buff?
Yeah, see,
because Gary Sinise looks good in this movie.
He's so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this launched his nonprofit.
Right.
He has stewarded and leveraged this movie for incredible good.
I cannot see me being as moved during the scene where he comes out and he's got the astronaut legs.
Yeah.
And the fiance if it was Joe Pesci.
Yeah, just imagine that. No. Hey, Forrest.
He just goes on a tirade. All right, here's the back of the VHS. I mean, no doubt in my mind, we owned this VHS.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in high school.
Probably a double cassette.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember where it was. It was in drama when I worked at Blockbuster.
Okay.
Which always I still remember that thinking, should this be a drama or should this be a comedy? We'll
Huh.
get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Winner of 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Director. It says on the top. Quote, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Unquote. How was that? Was that a good Forrest Gump impression?
That was like horrible. Come on, let's hear it, dude. Life is like a box of chocolates.
My impression usually devolves into the kid. You know what I mean? I'm better at a kid impression.
Sure.
Okay. Like this movie itself, this line from Forrest Gump, this was a badly written VHS thing, became an instant classic and an inspiration to millions of people worldwide. Tom Hanks gives an astonishing performance as Forrest in this acclaimed film from director Robert Zemeckis that rocketed to box office history and touched the hearts of film goers like no other movie. And that's a huge claim, but they make it here on the back of the box. Through 3 turbulent decades, Forrest rides a tide of events that whisks him from physical disability to football stardom, from Vietnam hero to shrimp tycoon, from White House honors to the arms of his one true love. Forrest is the embodiment of an era, an innocent at large in an America that is losing its innocence. His heart knows what his limited IQ cannot. This feels like they've given it to some like intern who just graduated with an English creative writing major. This is like I had written this right out of college.
Yeah, you're hot off the press. Like
his moral compass never wavers. His triumphs become an inspiration to us all. Forrest Gump. It's the story of a lifetime. PG-13. Good news, nation. It's in color. Let's watch the preview.
Okay.
There's so much to say. I know you do too. A canon movie.
Yep.
And we want to talk about it. Let's put it on trial. Here's a trailer.
All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. I got to go grab a La Croix.
Okay.
Sorry, I kept derailing you.
No. I figured this
grab a La Croix.
Episode would be this way. Anthony is dressed up, as you can see. Something you don't know, Gomertrons, is that right before this now, on Thursdays, Anthony has a concert. And so sometimes he's like changing out of a tux. Sometimes he's still got his concert clothes on like he does right now. So that's why he looks a lot nicer than I do. I also figured that Forrest Gump would be a lot of tangents. We have a lot of memories of this movie. So it's going to be a fun one. I don't know if you've seen this yet. This is what he got me for my birthday. It's a Yeti. Keeps my drink cool. It's tangerine. La Croix? It's empty now, but this thing keeps it cold for hours. It's so awesome. What else can I show you? We are once again in the process of moving my family. So when you move, you find a lot of stuff that you forgot you had. I found that Wally Lego. Here, let me go get it.
All right.
Showing the Gomertrons this thing I found yesterday.
Ooh. What is it? Whoa. Oh. Dude.
I totally forgot I even had this. Now that we're...
Let me see that thing up.
Oh. Now that we're moving again, you find a whole bunch of stuff you forgot you had. Yeah. It is so amazing, dude.
Dang.
It's like almost just the right size.
Oh.
And a perfect build for a Lego because he's so angular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, that rules. Oh,
He's so great.
that's got to be on Perfect Movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. We should do that this year.
Okay.
I love Wally. Okay. All right.
All right. Here
Let's
we
do it.
go. Ready?
Yep.
Go right to 40.
Good idea.
Even. I knew
Got
this
it.
one would be because it's just so canon-y.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Love it. Okay, let's go.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, click. Okay, claps. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
You gotta say
all rise.
Hey! Oh, dang it didn't work. Dang it. Hey! How's it going over there? Can't wait to talk about Forrest Gump.
We just had a little snafu. You tried to open something else. What is that other thing that you tried to open?
Okay, so I in honor of recording Forrest Gump today, I got this, which is a cherry vanilla Coke.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you like a cherry vanilla Coke?
Well, I actually, like, I was looking at the things. Oh, see there? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
It worked that time. Maybe
you should have shaken it.
Oh yeah, that's right. It would have blown up all over my desk. Oh my gosh, the nose on this cherry vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
It's like, it's perfect.
Why did you get that to celebrate Forrest Gump instead of a Dr. Pepper?
Didn't have Dr. Pepper there.
I see.
I was at Publix.
Uh-huh.
And I just grabbed this. I don't know.
He loves his Dr. Peppers.
Cherry vanilla was the closest Coke to Dr. Pepper, though.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah, sure. Someday, I think we should do a bonus disc app where we play the Dr. Pepper game and you try to guess all 23 flavors.
Okay, well, I think cherry and vanilla are for sure in there.
Well, I can't reveal the secrets or the game is spoiled, but you're on the right tracks, that's for sure.
Oh man, yeah, yum.
All right, here we are in the trial, folks. A big one, Forrest Gump. We have picked this movie. We love this movie. Even if I have complicated feelings about it, I can tell you right now I love this movie.
Totally.
We're going to talk through it. We're going to act as its defense counsel, present evidence. We get 2 apiece. Sometimes we use both. Sometimes we don't. We're going to attempt to prove to you, listener, to one another, that today's movie is perfect. When we're done with that, I get a vote. Anthony gets a vote. And we put it out to you on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for you to vote. And if it gets 3 out of 3, we put it on Anthony's artisan flash drive made completely of wood
that we whittled out of an old railroad tie.
Right,
reclaimed.
We talked about that in the Selma results. And then we slip it to either Goldblum or Will Smith.
Yep.
They take it up to the aliens, which I know have a name. I need to find the name of the aliens.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think they're like harvesters or something. They take it up to that alien instead of like that skull. Remember that skull that's like
yeah.
Instead of that, they get to watch Selma and be converted.
Sweet.
So maybe I'm actually curious. I mean, like we were talking about, this movie has changed, and its kind of impact on the culture and what people think of it has changed over the past quarter century. And so I'm really curious about whether or not this will get on the flash drive.
Yeah, well, according to Rotten Tomatoes, people love this movie.
Yes.
Still.
Yep, that was 95%, right? The audience score.
Yeah, it's 91%. Oh, yeah, okay. 95 and 71. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's good news for Forrest Gump.
Yep.
You never know what with Gomer listeners though. They can be tricky. I don't know.
There could be a take. I am actually very curious to see what people vote on this.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. I'm voting. Well, actually, I better not spoil it.
Oh, you were just gonna say what you were voting? You have done that before, where you've just we've said, like, I think I said on It's a Wonderful Life, like, no matter what You
Right.
say, you fools, this is
Yeah.
going on the flash drive.
Right. We both get a veto or a couple vetoes, right? This I would not use it for this.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
No, I don't think I might use it for like Deep Impact
Wow. Okay.
or The Firm or Night They Say.
Well, I'm glad we didn't put Night They Saved on Perfect Movie then, because I personally don't want the Harvesters to see that movie. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna chunk in right away
All
because
right.
I think my both of my evidence are big picture. You know,
Okay.
sometimes we get to a certain scene where I'm like, that scene makes it perfect.
Right.
My both of mine feel a little bit bigger picture, and so I'm gonna chunk in right away, because actually this is kind of strange. Selma got me thinking about this movie a little bit
Okay,
differently.
we talked to Donnell about that a little bit too.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so first of all, it got me thinking about some of the like some of the more like political scenes, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, and so that it got my mind. You know, you watch one movie and then you watch another one like right away,
Mhm.
and one bleeds into the other, and it changes the way you think about it. In
Yeah.
particular, I had this whole thing on the Selma episode about um, the perfect biopic is one short piece of a person's life.
Yep.
Forrest Gump is like a fictional biopic,
Yeah. Wait,
right?
he's not real? What?
He's not real, but he lives in the real world, and he has all these winky moments where he interacts with the real world. He teaches
Right.
Elvis how to dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's in like well, he's in I was going to say every important, obviously not. But he's in so many important events
Right.
or silly winky events like Elvis,
Yep.
like the smile have a nice day
Right. Yeah,
t-shirt.
like Watergate, like
Like
he breaks
yep.
Watergate, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um, which I feel like is the pitch to get people interested in this movie.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but like it's hard this movie's hard to explain. And so I
Yep.
think a um an intriguing elevator pitch is you get to watch this guy live through the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Well,
Yep.
or is it 60s, 70s, and 80s where stuff really
60s, 70s,
starts?
80s.
Yeah. Um, and he affects the world kind of accidentally or something. That might be.
Yeah.
I don't know how Zemeckis. Well, Zemeckis doesn't have to pitch movies, right? Because he made Back to the Future.
Yep. Oh, you want to make a movie? Okay. Here's
I
some money.
I
You have Tom
honestly
Hanks
think
attached?
looking at his past like 10 movies,
Yep.
I think people just can't say no to him.
Uh
Like
yeah.
I think there's always maybe something in the back of their minds, these production companies that say, well, he did a movie about a kid's mom falling in love with him and it made $1 billion.
Yeah. And two sequels.
Right. So maybe I don't quite understand Welcome to Marwin or whatever he did. I don't quite get this, but he made Back to the Future, and so yeah, here's
Yep.
20 million.
Yep.
So he probably didn't have to work hard getting Forrest Gump greenlit, but I think it for anybody else it would be a hard pitch.
Yep. What is it?
What even is it? Okay, so the thing that got me thinking as I was this is not a 3-month period in his life, right? This is 30 years of Forrest Gump's life.
Yeah.
And so I shouldn't like it as much. And Josh, who like remember he emailed us and he's like,
Yep.
no, I like big long biopics, and I
He likes a whole
poo-pooed
yeah.
that.
Right.
I'm gonna go 180 on that and let's say I think the reason this works is because it's a sprawling epic that takes 30 years.
Mm.
But I think the reason that it works is because Zemeckis or the writer
Eric Roth.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's responsible for this, but somebody looked at the finished script and said we need to make some thematic connecting tissue that wraps it all together that keeps coming up. And so
Mm.
my evidence is it's a sprawling 30-year movie, but there are themes, there's connective tissue in it that really
Okay.
works for me for some reason. So I have a
Okay.
couple examples. One is running.
Yep.
This feels like something that probably came in the second or third draft where they're like, he runs a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's add a couple more parts where he runs, and let's highlight those.
Hey,
and so
dude,
I love that.
do you care if I piggyback on in here? Is
Go
that
ahead.
okay?
Yep. Yes, I love piggybacking.
Okay. I'm just going to say my piece of evidence is running. So,
wow, okay.
Continue. And if anybody's wondering why are we recording this movie right now?
Yeah.
It's because we're like launching a running podcast again. So like that's really what got us to put this right in January, February, right? We were like, let's start the year off with Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it's like when we want to do, like I wanted to do Get Out for a long time, and it's like Halloween, scary, yay, that helps us do it, right?
Yep.
And of course, we've wanted to do Night They Saved for so long, and it's just a perfect time. Like there are just certain times. We did Selma last month because it was MLK week. Now we are launching. We're so relevant, right? We're always it's always connected to something. That is not true.
But you've just named a bunch of good examples of when we were.
Yeah.
And so we're launching Runner's Block.
Right.
Nobody's listening to this that doesn't know that.
Huh?
But
yeah.
What's that? How are we in the bonus disc for a Patreon and don't know that?
Somehow, does anybody ever subscribe to a Patreon of anybody's podcast without knowing their podcast first? I doubt it. Certainly not us.
No. Yeah. What would they search for?
We see you, Gomertrons. We recognize every single one of your names, right? Like we know these people intimately.
Yeah. But running related, that's why we put this here.
Yeah. It is a great non-running movie. It's a great non-sports running movie. Maybe that's what I mean.
It's probably top 10 running movies, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
2 or 3, right? Number 2 or 3 in running movies. We could look it up on Google, but if you looked up running movies, I bet Forrest Gump would be on every list.
Yes, totally.
And some of them would be like, well, it's not really a sports movie, but you can't not put Forrest Gump on it.
Well, it's got the best rave run scene of any movie. Chariots of Fire, incredible running on the beach.
Yep.
There's plenty of other movies that have great running scenes. The montage of the music, of Forrest running, of the cinematography, it doesn't get better than that.
Is that the climax of the movie, do you think? The run, his coast to coast to coast to coast run. I think he goes 4 times.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the connective tissue, so I don't want to derail you too much. I wanted to jump on board. I do want to talk about the running more, but
okay. I'm fine with talking all running right now because I do think that.
Okay.
So I'll just explain what I mean with the running. Obviously, there's like this initial kind of fun stuff with running, right? Mm-hmm. He breaks out of his leg braces when he's running.
Incredible scene. Totally.
And you get the "Run Forrest Run" quote.
Yep.
That's kind of the trigger for the first big time jump.
Yep.
Where he gets hit. Those bullies throw that actual rock at his head.
Right. No.
So sad, but it's funny. I can imagine you and B. Chad.
Oh my gosh.
Loving that.
I mean, college-wise, this was one of those ones that was always in the VCR.
Yeah.
I don't know if we had DVD. No, we were still in VCRs.
This
some DVDs.
This is prime VHS. This is like everybody had this VHS, like in a wicker basket next to their TV. You know
totally. I mean? For some reason, we're such jerks. We loved watching that scene. Like I don't know why. It is so funny when
it's very funny.
It's funny.
Yep.
It's sad because what's actually happening is like super sad. Like Erin last night, she was like, "They're stoning him."
Well, I think it's
They're
funny.
throwing rocks at him.
Okay, that's
his
true.
Face.
But I think it's funny in the same way that the cutaway and then he's far away is funny. It's a
Yeah.
physical, it's a funny physical gag.
Yeah, it's obviously meant to be funny.
And it's
The way
almost like Looney Tunes cartoony, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
he gets hit in the
yes, right.
rock in the face, he goes down, he comes back up, nothing's wrong with him, and then he runs away. They cut away, and he's far away. It's like a Warner Brothers, like Bugs Bunny
Yes.
would do that.
It's oh, okay. I gotta remind you of that too. Did you know originally there was supposed to be like some cartoons? Like he was supposed to have like a cartoon, like friend.
No,
And that's part of why they pitched it to Robert Zemeckis was because of
he
Who Framed
loves that crap.
Roger Rabbit.
Yep. Yes,
And he was like, "I'll do this. Get rid of all the cartoons. I'm not the cartoon guy, and I don't think that works."
I haven't read the book.
Like,
I wonder if that's from the book that he
oh,
has
yeah, maybe
conscious stuff.
Yes.
You know, like good angel, bad angel, or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean that makes complete sense that they would pitch it to Zemeckis. That seems right up his alley.
Mm-hmm.
He loves
Hey,
that.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit guy? It's like,
Right,
nope, that I
exactly.
just did that one time. I don't want to
Well,
be that guy.
If only he had only done it that one time. I mean, if you look at these past 5 movies he made, you're like, what are you thinking, dude? He's gone insane.
I don't think I've seen a Zemeckis movie, dude, since Castaway.
Okay, let's take a little break here. I want to read
Polar
to you.
Express?
So let me first read to you. Yes, he's got this strange run with these Polar Express movies. First, let me read to you what is around Forrest Gump, okay?
Okay.
So, the Back to the Futures and Who Framed Roger Rabbit are his 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Romancing the Stone is before that. I mean,
Yep.
Incredible run.
Yeah.
I Want to Hold Your Hand, which we watched at the Oasis.
Yep.
Then Death Becomes Her. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hack and I saw that in an empty theater, just me and him.
Okay. Yep.
That's like him trying to be Tim Burton.
Yep.
It's got a Tim Burton feel, right?
You're
Bruce
right.
Willis.
Meryl Streep.
And Goldie Hawn. I think that's who it is.
Yep.
Okay. Then Forrest Gump.
Okay.
I mean, and then it's just like, okay, here's the Back to the Future guy again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
He is the moneymaker now. Then just wait until this, dude. Contact.
Wait, I love Contact.
I know. I'm saying you just wait because this is a run right here.
Oh, okay.
Forrest Gump, Contact, Castaway.
Oh.
While he's filming Castaway, because Tom Hanks has to lose all that weight, you know?
Oh yeah.
They take a year break and he makes What Lies Beneath in that break.
Oh.
With Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Not a
I
great
remember
movie, but a great
that.
bathtub.
Okay. I think I remember being freaked out, but it being good.
Then he goes insane.
Okay.
He thinks he owns the world or something after Castaway. And he has these 3 computer graphics movies. Each more terrifying than the next. Polar Express, which I've said to you before I like, because it's got a great train.
Yep. Top trains.
We're gonna do a bonus disc.
Perfect.
Perfect trains.
Right.
I actually can't wait for that episode. But the train scenes of Polar Express slap. Then Beowulf.
Never saw it.
Okay, it's so weird.
Okay.
He gets Crispin Glover back.
Yep.
To play a monster in Beowulf, and it's the best part of that movie, but it's crazy. Then Christmas Carol with what's his face? Ace Ventura. Why can't Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, CGI, Christmas Carol. It is the worst movie ever made.
Okay.
It sucks. It's boring. It looks terrible. I would love to watch it with you some Christmas. We tried to watch it this past Christmas, and it's a horror movie.
Oh no.
Then he makes Flight. Have you seen Flight?
Flight was okay.
Yeah, I kind of like Flight.
Yeah.
The Walk, which is about that guy that goes from Twin Tower to Twin Tower on a.
Yes, The Wire.
Mm-hmm. That was
Wasn't
fun.
it The Wire?
Yeah,
I liked The Wire.
It's called The Walk. The Wire was a documentary, and then Zemeckis was like, "I want to make a movie of it with Joseph Levitt."
Oh, Gordon Levitt.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, I didn't see it. The Wire,
Allied,
I really liked.
yeah. Allied, which I never heard of and never saw. Welcome to Marwen with Steve Carell, which is insane. And then he just put The Witches out on HBO Max. And now he's slated to do a remake of Pinocchio for Disney, like a live action Lion King style Pinocchio.
Oh.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know, man. It's like you make a couple of unreal things and then you just do whatever you want. Like you can never take forget even Forrest Gump. You can never take away Back to the Future.
No.
Top movie ever made.
And so if he has things like the Back to the Future series, Forrest Gump, Castaway.
Yep.
No one is ever going to say no to this guy again.
Yeah.
Because every production company is going to hope that they don't get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just let him do it, and hopefully he'll make us a ton of money. That's probably why they were like, I guess A Christmas Carol, maybe he's figured it out since Polar Express, and it just doesn't happen. And then he's like, hey, how about some more money for Welcome to Marwen? And it just tanks, and nobody gives a rip. This guy's invincible.
He said in that USC interview, he was like, one of the things that he said that I thought was so amazing is he was like, I'm constantly asking everybody, like from like the cameraman to the props people to every actor, are we making the same movie? Like basically, are we on the same? Yeah. No.
Oh,
like,
I see. Just kind of like as a let's all get on the same page thing.
Yeah, like are we on the same page is basically the question he's asking. So it's like, he's like, one of the things that happened with Forrest Gump is like from the top to the bottom, we were making the same movie.
Okay.
Like I didn't have to show up and be like, the props don't match this, or like this acting choice isn't quite where the tone we're looking for. He was like, from top to bottom, we were. I would constantly ask like, are we making the same movie? And be like, yep, we're all on the same page. And then the other question he was asking was like, is this good? Like you're always asking yourself, like he's like, because they asked him, the film school,
right?
How did you know that this was good?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we didn't.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? He's like, how? Because we've asked that before. Like Elf is the perfect example to me.
Right.
Is like Will Ferrell in this weird outfit. Like, you know, is this gonna work? And
like on paper it feels crazy, but maybe it could work. We've talked about that with Home Alone too, with how did they get Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern to say yes to this, and it just, the magic works. And so Zemeckis must have stopped asking that eventually, because some of these movies, they were not making the same movie.
Right. Well, maybe he just starts to phone it in, make a paycheck.
I don't know. He still seems what he feels like to me is he really loves technology, and so he wants to do these things. That's why I said this thing like today. If he was pitched Forrest Gump, he'd be like, "Can I put some CGI things on his shoulders?" Now, there's a lot of CGI in Forrest Gump.
Yes, actually. Okay, so that is a hallmark of Zemeckis. You're right. Is technology.
Right.
Like I think the technology wing at USC is like named after him or whatever.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And so like he's always like teaching. I guess he teaches there regularly, at least according to that thing. And so like he's there not all the time, but whenever he's not making a movie, I guess.
Yeah. The
introducing
CGI in
new
things,
like new techniques, basically.
Yeah. So the CGI that he introduced, I feel like, and that he did in Forrest Gump is an invisible CGI.
Yeah.
Right? There's no big, like the most work that went into this with CGI is when he pops up behind LBJ, right? Or pops up like his little head pokes out.
Yeah. No, it's Wallace.
Oh, okay, right. Yep. That's right. Yep. And so like when he meets JFK, right? He meets JFK and has to pee. Which one does he have to pee in front of?
That's JFK.
Okay.
By the way, we watched this. We introduced this to the girls last night.
Yeah.
With some significant fast forwards and beeps.
Sure.
Basically, we fast forwarded almost every scene with Jenny, sadly, because sexual stuff and
Yeah, I know.
um. But some of the biggest laughs
Mm-hmm.
with the girls were that like when he pops behind
Yeah.
Wallace's head making that
Those
speech.
parts are funny.
Lily was ROTFLing, like I gotta go pee. That's their new favorite line.
Yep.
Got shot in the buttocks. Like.
Yeah. So, okay. So speaking of presidents, we never
Yep.
finished talking about running. That's my bad because I went on this Zemeckis.
Oh, that's
tear.
okay.
What
Zemeckis,
I was
that's
gonna
fine.
say was I wonder if this climax of running was not in the original script, and they realized,
Right.
okay, we've got him breaking the braces off. We've got him running in the football game, which is amazing. I love that part.
Yes, Alex.
Right. We've got him running out of the Vietnam jungle.
Yep.
And so there is this, speaking of invisible CGI, I also feel like that is sort of an invisible connecting tissue through the
Yeah.
movie that keeps you in it and keeps something familiar going on over those 30 years, where it could be a complete mess, and it may have been at some point a complete mess. They were able to tie it together with something like that. It's cool.
Yes. So that is the connective tissue. Now I get it. That makes total sense. See, I see running in the movie as like something he's just like naturally good at.
Yep.
And something. So one of the trademarks of Forrest Gump is he follows orders.
Yeah.
Right. Like
he's
he
good at following orders. You're right.
Yeah. Like I mean, my probably after the running, my favorite scene is probably the drill sergeant.
That gets the biggest laugh, I think, in our house.
Yep.
Where the way that drill sergeant talks to him is, who is that guy? He's so funny. He should get the Oscar. Take it away from Tom Hanks and give it to that guy.
Okay, so dude, me and Chad, dude. So
Yeah.
So we just figured out pre-sophomore year, he used to do this. He used to be able to like recite this, and I was always so jealous because he was so good at it. Like, why did you put together that weapon so quickly, Gump?
That's the best line right there. Why?
Yes.
And he doesn't ask how. That's the key to that line. He says,
totally.
Why did you put that gun together so quickly, Gump?
Yes.
Because you're tall, my toes are.
Yep. Yeah, so yeah, Chad used to be able to yell that, and he would yell it at me, and it was so funny. I loved it so much.
Funny. Yep.
But yeah, you're right. Because you told me to, right? So that's the other part of that line is that he does what he's told, right?
Speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, because you told me to, from Terminator 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're very similar characters.
You're totally right. Kind of wooden, very like immediately act like they take immediate action. They're obedient. Yeah. So, Jenny, the first thing Jenny tells him to do is run.
Yes.
Right, and then he runs, and so like he always knows like I can go, like that's like I can do that, and that's what I'm supposed to do when I'm in trouble. When
His
I'm
mom
worrying.
tells him that too, right? Like when you're in trouble, you just run. What she tells him that before he goes to Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, actually, but Jenny tells him that too on the bridge.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. You're right. If you get in trouble, don't fight, run.
Yes, that's it. So like running is like his place of, like of dealing with his feelings, which is why when she leaves, he just leaves. He just runs. He just doesn't know what else to do. That's what he's been told to do when he's hurt.
And I'm getting chill bumps right now, so I cannot deny the greatness of this movie. Right? Because that is just, even calling that scene, he's sad that she left. And then he's like Steven. He was in khaki pants and a button up.
I know, totally.
Shoes, and runs that driveway and doesn't stop for years. That part doesn't like me, but
and the other connective
have the right
tissue
clothes on.
Right. Eventually he does.
Yeah.
But like the other connective tissue with that is she is always running.
Okay, that's good.
Right?
Yes.
So like whenever stuff starts to go good,
mm-hmm.
she like sabotages it and runs.
Oh, interesting. Yep.
You know what I mean?
she that thing that she's telling him about the war, which is a fight or flight thing. The better thing to do
Right.
is run.
Yep.
That's what she's also modeling to him with her
Mm-hmm.
life. He probably
Yep.
doesn't get that, and I didn't get it until you just said it, but that's a cool connecting tissue too.
She
Because they are
runs.
telling both of their stories throughout the movie.
Yep.
They're going back and forth between Jenny and
Yep.
Forrest.
Okay, I just put this together. I was thinking about this in the car earlier.
Uh-huh.
Forrest Gump for me is like a friend that you visit every couple years.
I know some of those friends of yours.
Totally.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
each time you see them,
Uh-huh.
it's so familiar, but you learn a little something new.
Yeah.
And that is very much like what this movie is for Forrest and Jenny.
Right.
Like they keep that's kind of like the cycle. As opposed to like a linear movie, it's kind of like cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Like circles, like, and it always ends up back with Jenny, and then some running for both of them, and then back with Jenny, and then some running, and then finally they stop running, and then they are together forever, and then she dies.
Yeah. Yep. Um it's extremely well put together.
Yep.
I think it just like I think that one of my evidences for Back to the Future was that Rube Goldberg machine that opens up the
Yeah.
movie, and you're like, I'm in good
Yeah.
hands. This guy knows how to put a movie together.
Yep.
It's kind of like showing off right at the beginning. Um, this is another. I think this is a maybe his second most carefully crafted movie
Yep.
besides Back to the Future, where things just pay off, pay off, pay off, pay off.
Mm.
A couple other connecting tissues I saw were the kind of he keeps going back and meeting presidents, where
Yep.
eventually he's just like,
Totally.
again, I
Yeah,
went to
I
the
got
White House
to.
again.
Totally.
I think there's death that really ties the last half of the movie together, in particular with his mom's death and then Jenny's.
Yeah.
They die in the same bed. They
Dang.
are
Wow, I
they're
didn't think about
so
that.
similar to him, and they're so similar for him in their place in his life, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of he remembers the day of the week that both of them die on when he gives a
Yeah.
little speech afterwards. So that's what Zemeckis is good at, and this writer is good at. Eric Roth is good at too. Now he's uneven to me. Also, I looked at um his IMDb. I
Yeah.
was not surprised to see that he wrote um what's the name of that movie where the guy ages backwards? Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button. Yeah.
Another like boy who or weird person who
Yep.
lives through decades, right?
Yep.
And
Biopic.
affects yeah, right, exactly. He's sixth. He's sixth down on Dune, this writer.
Eric Roth.
Yeah, so he's
Oh.
but this guy has a this guy has a I'm just gonna pull that up real quick too, because he's an interesting writer. He's got a lane, that's for sure. Let's see,
Okay.
what did he write? So and it's like every other one is good. So Forrest Gump, great. The Postman sucks. The Horse Whisperer, it's a little bit treacly for me. The Insider, great. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, it's okay. I kind of like Benjamin Button.
Okay. I saw it once. Don't really remember much about it. My favorite part about it is Walter Mitty scene.
Oh, that's why. That's why I was so sure you've seen it, because you speak so highly of that scene in Walter Mitty. Extremely loud and incredibly close. And that should be called extremely bad and incredibly sucky. A Star is Born. Love.
Even with the hot takes.
That's in my top 5 of 2018. Mm-hmm. A Star is Born.
Yeah.
And then his latest is Dune. So this guy has like it's like he writes epics, I feel like. And so he knows how to, obviously I think he knows how to string these connective tissue things through a big giant movie like this. I'm hoping they give him that job to do in Dune, because that is a massive movie to try to make.
Yeah. I was thinking like you only miss the shots you don't take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they're just throwing crap at the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, these are billions of dollars, millions and millions. So
just throwing $1 billion bills at the wall to see.
Yeah, I mean they make the money back at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like sometimes you get a Forrest Gump and sometimes you get like a Postman or whatever.
Yeah.
But think about how many like the ones that don't have any of those steamers. You know, like
yep.
Think about like honestly, if you look at Spielberg, if you look at Tom Hanks, like there's some people where their IMDb is just like pretty spot on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think Tom Hanks is very solid. I mean, maybe the most solid in the biz. I mean, he wasn't extremely loud and incredibly close. I'll forgive him for that. But like you're even like now he's playing like nice old men. Is that his lane now?
Yep. Yep, Mr. Rogers.
And Sully.
You've got
right?
the movie
These are
now.
the things. Yep. Yeah.
With the news one or something like that.
Right. The Post, all those like he's really, really good at playing old men. Nice old men. Great job, Hanks.
You know, okay. So converse that with like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Another man with the same name who's still playing young guy roles. Right? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. I love seeing, and we've said this so many times as we're getting to our 40s.
Yeah.
I love seeing people that age gracefully and embrace it and accept it and go with it. You know what I mean? Like, I love this idea. Like, Tom Cruise is now the grandpa. Excuse me. Tom Hanks is now the grandpa. Like, he's not trying to clinging to some scraps. You know, like to quote Elaine and George Costanza. Like, you know, like go with it. Like don't just keep plastic surgerying it up and trying to, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I do love Tom Cruise and I love it when he hangs off of a plane. I'd like to see Tom Hanks do that.
Well, okay, and Tom Hanks was never that. No. And that's Tom Cruise's thing. Like was Tom Hanks ever an action hero? Like
I mean, he was a bad guy in Road to Perdition. And he was shooting guns and killing people and stuff, but still he was like, you liked him. I don't think he's ever been. This is the closest to an action movie he's ever been in because he runs around so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chunk in.
All right.
Because it's something. Then this is what I'm gonna need help with.
Okay.
I think this piece of evidence started with a question for me, which we've asked several times already, which is what even is Forrest Gump? What is this?
It's a feather being blown in the wind.
Oh, that's another connective tissue. Feather starts and closes.
Yep.
And I don't think. Do you hear that theme anywhere besides the opening and closing?
Yeah. I know he did. I remember playing it at Brenda and Maureen Murphy's house.
Yeah. Yep. I think you only see that when the feather is present.
Okay, that's the feather theme, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so is Forrest Gump, over the past 25 years, there are so many, I think we were talking about this before, how many podcasts there are about Forrest Gump. If you look up, if you Google Forrest Gump news article or opinion piece, I mean, there are tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And I would say a good bulk of those are asking, what do you, what is it? So like some of them are like, it's a moralistic tale, right? Forrest Gump does the right thing with his life. Jenny doesn't. She becomes a hippie and drinks and does drugs and has sex, and so then she dies. And so the moral is be like Forrest Gump. I don't think that's what this movie is.
No, I don't think so either.
Is it a feel-good drama? I don't think it is, because so many people die. And I don't know that this movie necessarily makes me feel good.
Dang it makes me feel good, dude.
Okay. That's interesting. Let's come back to it.
Okay.
Is it like a comedy, like he got hit, like you and Chad laughing at he got hit in the head with a rock, and this kind of like voice that Hanks is doing. I'm not quite. I don't
Right.
even quite know what to do with his voice. It's a
It's
choice.
yeah. Well, it's so good. I mean, like,
Yeah.
did you hear about the formation of his voice?
That it's because of the kid. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So like they were like they wanted him to have a southern accent. He didn't want to. Tom Hanks didn't want to. Then
Yeah.
they heard the boy talk and they were like, that's the voice. And
Okay.
so like you have to watch this like little this it was like 55-minute like
Uh-huh.
at USC, and Tom Hanks goes through an entire conversation with the kid. The kid's telling him about his dad. The kid's telling
Because
about
that
what his
is the
dad.
kid's voice. It's not.
Yeah.
He's not making
Yes.
that up. Okay.
As soon as he starts impersonating the kid, it's the voice of Forrest Gump.
Okay. So maybe that is what makes me a little uncomfortable about this, because I'm
Hmm.
constantly wondering, is he mimicking some poor kid who talks weird? and and I think he's making that choice because of the he's got an IQ of 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's it is Forrest Gump um mentally handicapped. I don't know. They don't go
Right.
there in the movie. They just say he's got a really low
They
IQ.
say he's slow-witted, right?
Right, exactly. And
Um.
so that sort of, probably two or three times when I'm watching the movie, I bump up against it. It
Okay.
is Tom Hanks here doing an impression that he shouldn't be doing. And would
Ah.
he today, if he did this in a movie, get arrested? Because it's so mean. It's not the whole movie. And again, I love this movie and I think it's perfectly crafted. I think I bump up against his impression sometimes of this
Wow.
poor
Okay.
kid. I don't know what became of this kid.
Dang.
I don't know if he is fine, and I didn't
So
look him up, but
yeah, the kid from what I saw, uh, has like did a little bit more stuff, and then he like went into the dude. He like went and served in Iraq.
oh wow, okay.
Um, and now I guess now he's been doing some more movies as like an adult.
Oh, okay.
But he seemed to be doing fine. And like, okay, so to put your mind, let me put your mind at ease.
Okay.
Um, like he doesn't seem to have a problem with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, like you see, it's the 20th anniversary of Forrest Gump. It's the 15th anniversary. It's the 25th anniversary. There's
Right.
all these different parties
Yeah.
and like everybody's like loving it. Zemeckis, Hanks, Sinise,
Oh yeah.
like like they nobody seems to have uh yet to be going to jail or anything.
Or thinking this is
Like,
problematic or whatever. So
right.
actually that's pretty low on my list of what is the
Yeah, yeah.
this thing, because it's
But I know
also
what you're
like,
saying though. I do, because I thought that same thing when me and Chad were laughing.
yeah,
We're like,
okay.
should we be laughing at this?
Right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is that in us somewhere.
Yeah.
I think also the tone sometimes is, I'm like, okay, this is a satire, right? You find out early in the movie, Forrest is named after a
Mm.
Ku Klux Klan member,
Right.
right?
Like the leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is played off as a joke. And I actually think it's funny because it's dark comedy and it's satire. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that that tone remains. It's a
Mm.
weird, dark way to to start a movie, and I'm not
True.
sure that it continues. And so I don't think it's a satire the whole time. So here's my theory about what this movie is, and
Okay.
I think why I like it.
All right.
Two scenes. The one where he's in front of the reflecting pool and he gives that speech,
Yep.
and the guy who's a famous guy, and I can't remember his. I mean, the guy that brings him up there is an actual person.
Yep. With the American flag shirt.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember what the guy's name is. And he asked him to give a speech. Tell us what happened in Vietnam. Tell us everything. And then the sound goes off.
Yep.
And so you can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what he's saying.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like that is one encapsulation of what this movie is. I don't actually know what Zemeckis is saying.
Okay.
The other thing is you can bleep this out.
Okay.
The shark happens scene.
Yep.
I think this movie is about blind luck. It's
Okay.
a Shart Happens movie.
Okay.
And that I think is why I like it. I can't think of any other movie like it where this guy just stumbles
Yep.
into leaving legacy after legacy after legacy in his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's a lesson to be learned from that besides, isn't this an interesting story?
Yep.
And it comes together for me and I love it.
Nice.
I shouldn't love it because I like
Mm-hmm.
to have a message and I want to know what's going on and I
Right.
want to know what the reason is. I don't know what the moral of Forrest Gump is, and I've spent 25 years trying to figure it out.
Okay, I think it's like life. It's like the feather. Like life
Okay.
comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and things happen, and you have to deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
so like, he like real things happen to him, like real tragic things.
Right.
But I think he is like that feather. It plops here randomly, but it's like very amazing that it did, and then it's gonna fly over here, and then it ends up over here. It just somehow, because it's a movie, it ends up in the most amazing places constantly.
Okay. So then the miracle of the movie for me is that if that's what it's about, that life is random
Mm-hmm.
and you can stumble and slip into these great things.
Yep.
The miracle is that the movie works.
Mm.
That you can take an idea like that. And I don't even know if this was the idea.
Yeah.
That it's a it's like it's just this random guy's life.
Yep.
That should not work.
Right.
Why does this movie work? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Tom Hanks himself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this
I
connecting
think
tissue that we were talking about. For some reason, this random movie, and I'm not just saying that like, oh, I like random humor, how people say it. I hate it when people say that. I like
right.
random humor. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what happens to him. It's like mistake after mistake after mistake.
Totally. It
And
doesn't
for
make.
some reason, it's something
Yeah.
beautiful at the end.
Well, yep. I just think like it's just it's a, I don't know, what do you say, feel good drama?
Yeah.
Like, it's just an interesting story,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
and I love watching it. Like,
yeah.
like,
no,
it's
I
totally
agree
original,
with you 100%. Yes.
right? Like, it's totally original.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that Tom Hanks is making fun of somebody.
Okay. Right.
I don't think he's making fun of that kid. I think they were like, because I don't think that kid is like the only person that like has that accent too.
Okay. Right. Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's very Alabama. That's very Southern.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not like an accent expert or anything like that.
Right.
I don't think it's meant to be made fun of.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a
I
beautiful.
don't either.
Right.
So I don't. Maybe that's it. I don't think it's intentional. I'm just wondering if 20 years out you look back at it and say intentional or not. That feels strange to me.
Yep. But this right here
Yeah.
is why this movie probably wouldn't be made now. You'd be like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, actually. That's actually along the lines of mother and son in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, you can't do that anymore. But it's in there now, and you can't take it out, you know?
Yeah. And I think that Zemeckis in the 80s is he's got Spielberg behind him. He's got his bro, his shadow, always saying, no, I believe in this guy and he should do it. And then you get one movie like that and you're able to make movies like Forrest Gump, which don't make sense on paper.
Yeah.
But somehow this director has a vision and it works. And then if you can get 3 of those in your career, and I think that is Back to the Future series, Forrest Gump and Castaway.
Yep.
Contact,
dude.
You're golden. Contact, yeah, sure. Yep,
Contact.
A big hit, a huge hit. Also with a president in it. He's
that's right.
With putting presidents in his movies.
Totally. Hold on, let me chunk in real quick, dude, as we're finishing up.
Yeah.
Okay. Connective tissue.
Mm-hmm.
I love your connective tissue thing. my last piece of evidence, dude, is I like my movies how they look,
Yeah.
how they make me feel,
Yeah.
how they sound.
Yes.
It's how this movie sounds, dude.
Wow.
Okay.
I agree.
This movie, it makes you feel good in a world of cynicism and sadness, right? It's like, why can't you just have a movie that's fun, that makes you laugh, that actually has some gritty, tough elements,
Yeah.
and then that has incredible cinematography,
Yes.
like gorgeous running rave run scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. I mean, I cried a bunch of times last night.
Yeah.
And then how it sounds. So let's just real quick, because we're basically out of time.
Sure.
Just talk about
We
how
knew
this
one
movie
would be long.
sounds.
It's fine.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Now I have a question, and I think you can, if you were a child of we're children of the 80s. We were born in 79, 78. But so does that make us childs of the 80s or the 90s?
See,
80s?
I think we're children in the 80s, right? But I think
Childs.
when we come to our favorite movies, it's in this 3-year chunk.
Yeah.
93,
Right.
94, 95.
When we started watching stories by ourselves, right? We figured out early mid 90s.
Yeah, these are my stories.
Drop me off, Mom. But so children of the 80s and 90s, I think you can sum up if you were the owner of the soundtrack of Forrest Gump or the score of Forrest Gump.
Okay. Guess what?
Okay.
I own the score.
Yep.
We were talking about this the other in a different episode. I can't remember, where you get married to somebody and you inherit their music.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Jessica had the double CD soundtrack.
Okay.
So I brought in the single CD score.
Green with the Jenny and Forrest as kids on the tree. Yep.
Exactly. From the back.
Yep.
And she brought in the soundtrack, which is Forrest on the Bench.
Yep, the white
double
album.
CD. Yep, white.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Okay.
I forgot. I meant to tell you that, and I'm so glad we're talking about this.
That is great. What you bring to the marriage.
Yeah.
So I remember Chad had the white album.
Uh-huh.
Chad is the music guy. Chad was like my music educator of non-classical music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To go to his house, learn about music, and learn about the Beatles, and learn about Godfather. But like, so he had that. But I was always like, no. Like, I want the score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You were that kid who was annoyed at Best Buy when you asked for the soundtrack. They brought you the double CD.
Well, and it was, I have a remembrance of it being hard to find.
Yeah. That's because they pushed the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And
sold 12 million copies, by the way.
They had the Feather score. They had the Feather song on the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
And so if people liked that song, they weren't going to probably go for... If they liked that track of Silvestri's, they weren't going to go for the full score. They were probably, oh, what a cool bonus. There's also some orchestra music on this.
Ooh, pinkies up. Let's listen to the symphony. So I was sitting in that theater summer after freshman year, and there's this track. It's called Where Heaven Began or something like that, or Where Earth Began. It's one of those. My
favorite scene.
He's telling Jenny about his running.
I mean, talk about connective tissue. It all comes out there, right? He tells the story of every... Oh my gosh. I'm covered, dude. in chill bumps right now. That scene is really special.
Yeah, she asks him, "Were you scared? Were you scared when you're in Vietnam?" Vietnam. Yeah. The track is called Where Heaven Ends. I just looked it up.
Okay.
Yep. The score underneath that moment has this beautiful bassoon solo. So he's like, you couldn't tell where the heaven begin, where earth ends and heaven begins, right?
Right. He's talking about the desert near my house. By the way, they run through Flagstaff.
No way.
Yep. The S Happens scene is in downtown Flagstaff.
That is incredible.
I know I see exactly where this one window is and where this one hotel is. But yeah,
Oh.
that description of the desert where he can't
Mm-hmm.
tell where the land ends and the sky begins is exactly
Yeah.
what it looks like out there. And
Mm.
I've never heard it described better.
Mm. I love that. And
And there's a
so,
bassoon part behind.
yeah, that's the moment. That's the big bassoon solo.
Wow.
Um, and I remember sitting in there, and I was like, "Hey, Chad, Alex, listen to the bassoon." And so, like, my like pursuit. This. There's no YouTube. There's no Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
There's no iTunes. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I wanna find that part and listen to that part. And so you needed the score.
Yeah.
You couldn't have the soundtrack because only I didn't even remember that the Feather theme was on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like that little 20-second bassoon solo is still one of my most like. It was very influential for me. I love that sound.
Yeah.
Like, and like just as like a total like, silly thing, but like now I'm friends with that dude on Facebook.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like
it all comes around.
No, I mean it's like
Right.
so silly, but like as like an eighth or as like a ninth, 10th grader, like it's just neat that now like that music I'm still doing that, and now I like peripherally know that dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that's part of how this movie has been a friend for so long and is so meaningful.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And
cool.
we didn't even talk about the soundtrack, which some of
It's
the
good.
tracks are a little on the nose. This last time I watched it,
yeah,
like San Francisco, and then like now I'm in New York. Like it's a little bit.
I gotta get out of here. When they're in,
Yeah.
when they're in Vietnam, like okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't a song over the credits. Run, Forrest. Oh yeah, run. You're gonna get over from coast to coast.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I don't know. It would be Huey Lewis in the news. I'm gonna watch this scene again after we're done. I found it on YouTube. It's called Forrest Share War Beautiful Memory with Jenny / Forrest Gump / Tom Hanks / Robin Wright. 19 views.
Nice.
Probably because it gets taken down right away.
Yeah.
All right. Great movie. And now, listener, it's in your hands. You can go to Instagram, our website, Facebook, Twitter, or our Gmail. All of that is Two Gomers to vote on whether you think Forrest Gump is a perfect movie. I am very curious because even as we're talking, right, we're going back and forth. We see its flaws. We see its rough edges. We cannot get away from the fact that it is effective, right?
Yep.
And it has a huge part in both of our canons. So we're going to give it to you so that you can kind of separate yourselves from that on our behalf. And we're going to find out if it's a perfect movie. We'll find that out in a couple weeks here on the bonus disc. If you are listening to this in the future, you got to subscribe to the bonus disc because that's the only place the result shows happen.
Yes.
All right, dude. Can I just say some thanks real quick? Thanks to our webmaster, Adam, Jason for our graphics, Davis for our amazing music, Annie for our social media.
Yeah.
Next movie we've decided, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Steven's choice. We're doing Spirited Away.
Haven't seen it. Looking forward to seeing it.
I told you yesterday on text. I'm terrified by this. I'm nervous. It is in my top 10 movies of all time. Huge part of my life and my family's life. And I am like 50-50 that you'll like it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to discovering it, dude. I mean, thing is, when it comes to the recommendation like that, and it's not ironic, like me and Night They Saved, I know I'll like it. I'm sure I'll like it. Dude.
I just don't know. I think it's very different. It's certainly, and I've told this story before on Mad Max, it's very different than anything I ever watched before I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And it connected with me. I wonder if it's going to connect with you. So in a month, that's our March movie, Spirited Away. And next week on the bonus disc, let me look at our calendar. Oh, it's the Production Jingles game show that I made up, where I play game show jingles and Anthony and our friend Kaz try to guess what they are without looking.
Super fun. Join us for that, please. Wait, they're already going to join us for that. They're here already.
You're locked in. All right, dude. Great app.
Super fun, man.
All right. Have a great week.
All right, you too, dude.
And happy watching Spirited Away.
All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Nice.
Oh, save that. That was really good, dude.
That was really good. Lots of good stuff in there. Sometimes we dragged a little bit, but
and you
it's
can
just
cut,
there's just
you
so
can cut
much.
what you want, but it's like it's hard to talk about this movie because it's so much.
I know. Here, you got cut the feed. I gotta ask you a couple questions off air. Bye, Gomer Trons.